Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and
Off we go! Lively Lewis Stories.
Levi and Ivy love fidgets. And I know, lots of kids love fidgets, but Levi and Ivy really love fidgets. It's all they play with. It's all they talk about. It's all they ask for. Until one day, one too many fidgets was just too much. Levi and Ivy were sorting and trading their fidgets just like they did every Saturday morning and pretty much every other morning. 2 stretchy noodles, a unicorn pop fidget, and a dino dimple, said Ivy, placing the fidgets on the trading mat. Said Levi as he studied the fidgets. I've always liked this dino dimple, but I have a lot of stretchy noodles. Do you have anything else? Ivy looked through her fidgets, grabbed a neon green squishy ball, and tossed it in the pile. That'll do it, said Levi. Now you can have my hamburger and fries pop fidgets. Yes, exclaimed Ivy, picking up the 2 fidgets and pretending to gobble them up. Yum! I love burgers and fries. As they continued to play with their fidgets, they heard their mom and dad calling them from downstairs. Levi, Ivy, we have a special surprise for you, shouted their dad. Head down here so we can tell you all about it, added their mom. Levi and Ivy each grabbed a fidget because they never went anywhere without one, and they ran to see what the big surprise was. What's up, Mom and Dad? Said Levi as he ran into the kitchen. Yeah, what do you got to tell us? Something cool, I hope, said Ivy. Oh, yeah, something cool having to do with fidgets. That would be the best, added Levi. You're both in luck, said their dad, taking 4 tickets out of his pocket and placing them on the kitchen table. We got tickets to the fabulous fidget convention going on tomorrow right here in town. There will be fidgets from all over the world, said their mom, probably some that you've never even seen. And to make it even better, the special guest at the convention will be the fidget queen herself. Mrs. Bench? Exclaimed Levi and Ivy together, finishing their mom's sentence. They both dropped the fidget they were holding and jumped up and down all over the kitchen. So I guess you're pretty happy? Joked their dad. We're beyond happy, said Levi once he finally stopped jumping up and down. This is the best day ever, said Ivy. Even better than the day I got my first pop fidget. And that was a really great day. Levi and Ivy felt like they had so much to get ready for before tomorrow. After all, if they were going to meet their fidget idol, Mrs. Bench, they had to be prepared. They ran back up to their rooms to each put together the greatest collection of fidgets they could think of. They wanted to show Mrs. Bench and hopefully impress her so that someday they could become the fidget prince and princess and work their way up into her fidget empire. They also had another idea. Don't forget to bring your favorite Mrs. Bench fidget for her to sign, Levi, called Ivy from her room. Great idea, Ivy, Levi called back. Can you believe that tomorrow we may actually get to meet Mrs. Bench? Ivy walked into Levi's room to show him the fidget collection she was bringing with her. That looks pretty good, but I think mine is just a bit better, said Levi very confidently. Better than mine? What are you talking about? I have a super rare flamingo pop fidget, 2 tangles that glow in the dark, a fidget cube, and some of the best fidget rings and bracelets around, declared Ivy. That's great, but you don't have my amazing fidget puzzle ball, a gold infinity cube, and an almost life-size T-Rex pop fidget? Oh, of course, then my can of putty that smells like a fresh-baked brownie? Levi replied. You know what? I guess we can just let Mrs. Bench decide, said Ivy. Levi quickly changed the subject as he started to get excited for the unique and new fidgets that awaited them tomorrow as well. They both got a faraway look in their eyes as they imagined what incredible fidgets they could see. Maybe a marble fidget. But instead of a marble, they'd use a bowling ball, and it would be huge. Maybe they would have special galactic putty that was made with real moon dust. Maybe they would have the longest sensory stretchy string ever that would stretch around the entire world. Or maybe they would have one fidget that both Levi and Ivy have been dreaming about since they saw it advertised in their favorite fidget magazine, Fabulous Fidgets of the Future. Ivy and Levi both looked at each other and said, What if Mrs. Bench is selling her limited edition golden pop fidget made with flecks of real gold? I heard it cost $1 million, said Levi. I heard she made only one and keeps it locked in a safe in her basement, said Ivy. As Levi and Ivy were dreaming about the golden pop fidget, their dad walked by in the hallway. Oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you kids that they said they're giving away that golden pop thing you've always been talking about at the convention tomorrow, said their dad. Something about it being the only one Mrs. Bench ever made, and she wants it to go to a true fidget fan. They said the person with the best fidget collection will take it home. Pretty cool, huh? Levi and Ivy couldn't speak. They would actually have the chance to win Mrs. Bench's golden pop fidget? Once they heard that, they both knew, no matter what, they had to bring that fabulous fidget home. Good luck tomorrow winning the golden pop fidget, said Ivy, leaving Levi's room. You're going to need it if I'm there. Well, good luck to you too, said Levi. But you'll need more than just luck because no one has a better fidget collection than me. And tomorrow, everyone will know that when Mrs. Bench hands me her golden pop fidget. Levi and Ivy spent the rest of their day and early the next morning going back through their entire fidget collections over and over to put together the best group of fidgets they could. After a quick breakfast, they jumped in the car with their parents and headed to the convention. As soon as they arrived, they were in full fidget overload. There were more fidgets than Levi and Ivy had ever seen. And that's saying a lot because they have seen a lot of fidgets. They walked in carrying their fidget bags. Inside, each were the best of the fidgets they had to show Mrs. Bench in hopes of winning the golden pop fidget. Levi and Ivy were very focused on that one goal and walked right over to the area where the golden pop fidget was on display. Then they just stared, without talking for quite a while. I can't believe it's right here, said Ivy. I just have to win it, whispered Levi. But is my fidget collection good enough? Ivy heard Levi doubting his collection, and since she always thought he had a pretty phenomenal fidget collection, she started to doubt hers. Both Levi and Ivy thought that maybe they should take a walk around and see if there were any rare and spectacular fidgets that they could buy to make their collection stand out. So off they went. They each had money saved from their birthdays and holidays that they put into their fidget fund. They were so happy they had saved up so much for just an amazing important moment as this. Now, what they didn't realize was, because they were focused on making sure the other one didn't win the golden pop fidget, that they hadn't seen Mrs. Bench sitting at a booth already checking out fidget collections. They also didn't realize that you had to show Mrs. Bench your fidget collection before 2 p.m. to be in the running for the grand prize. Levi and Ivy were still only concerned with looking for unique fidget spinners, squishies, fidget cubes, and slime-filled fidget stress balls. They picked up different fidgets here and there, hoping they would be enough to win the golden pop fidget. The day went and the hours rolled by as Levi and Ivy marched back and forth across the convention floor looking at and buying fidgets. Kids, maybe you should go and check in with the gold poppy thing giveaway, said their dad. Isn't that the whole reason why you're here today? Sure is, Dad. We'll head over there as soon as we both think we have the best fidget collection possible to show Mrs. Bench, said Ivy. Yup. I can't wait to meet her and have her hand me that golden pop fidget, smiled Levi. Hand you the golden pop fidget? Laughed Ivy. You mean hand me the golden pop fidget. Now, kids, I thought collecting fidgets were supposed to be fun and reduce stress, said their mom. You both seem pretty stressed right now and don't look like you're having much fun at all. No, Mom, we're fine, both Levi and Ivy said at the same time. I just need one more fidget so I can win. And in that moment, they both froze when they heard an announcement over the convention loudspeaker. Hello, fidget friends. It's me, Mrs. Bench. I just wanted to thank everyone who visited me today at my booth and shared their fantastic fidget collections with me. They were all amazing, but only one person can be the winner of my golden pop fidget, and that person is... Levi and Ivy stopped listening because it didn't matter who the winner was, because it wasn't one of them. They never even made it over to see Mrs. Bench because they were too concerned with finding the best fidget and beating each other. I can't believe it, blurted out Levi. Mrs. Bench was here and we never even saw her. And we didn't even show her our fidget collections, added Ivy, looking stunned. And we didn't win the golden pop fidget, they both exclaimed as they dropped all their fidgets on the ground. As the fidget rolled, bounced, popped, squished all around them, a familiar voice said, "Wow, these are some really great fidgets. I wish I had seen these during my Golden Pop Fidget contest. There may have been another winner." When Levi and Ivy turned around, it was none other than Mrs. Bench. "Oh my gosh, the Fidget Queen!" they both shouted as they gave Mrs. Bench a hug. "Hi, kids. I really mean it. These fidgets are amazing. So many rare, special, and unique ones in the bunch. Really nice job putting them together," Mrs. Bench said with a smile. "Wow, thank you, Mrs. Bench," said Levi. "The collection is actually a mix of both my brother's collection and mine," added Ivy. "So why didn't I see it over at the Golden Pop Fidget contest?" Mrs. Bench asked. "Well, we were kind of too busy competing against each other to win your amazing Golden Pop Fidget that we forgot all about showing you our collections," answered Levi. "Oh no! If you had only worked together and combined your collections, you would have had a real chance at winning," said Mrs. Bench. "Fidgets are meant to be fun, not stressful. You seem like great kids with a good eye for fidgets. I hope you learned something today about working together when you really want something." "We sure did, Mrs. Bench," said Ivy with a smile as she looked at Levi and helped him pick up the fidgets they had dropped. "Thank you, Mrs. Bench," said Levi. "We really appreciate you stopping to talk with us. We really love all your fidgets." "Why, thank you," said Mrs. Bench, reaching into her bag. "And since the day kind of got away from you and you didn't have a chance at winning the Golden Pop Fidget, I'd like to give you these Pop Fidgets." Then Mrs. Bench pulled out 2 puzzle pieces from her bag and handed one to Levi and one to Ivy. "These puzzle pieces represent each of you. Separately, they're great fidgets, but together they're bigger and better," said Mrs. Bench. "Always work together to reach your goals, and you'll be surprised at the amazing things you can achieve." Then she walked off, leaving Levi and Ivy standing there with their parents. "That was so nice of her to give you those fidgets," said their dad. "And look at that, they're both signed." Levi and Ivy looked at their special Mrs. Bench fidgets and smiled. Overall, they had had a pretty great day. Even though they didn't win the Golden Pop Fidget, they did get to meet Mrs. Bench, get her autograph, and learn a really important lesson. From then on, Levi and Ivy combined their fidgets collections at home and enjoyed playing with them every day, together. Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back